Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, the classic, less known classic. This episode number 2506 and the Doubleshot number 2400. Yep. Now, what replaced? Now, basically, first character I'm talking about, this replaced Daredevil. I've discussed a lot of this character already, discussing the first Epic Collection to collect this character, and plus all the several leads in 21st century of this character. But now I'm back talking about this character. Is there any plans? What's going to replace this one? I'm finished with it. No plans yet, but we're here discussing one of my personal favorite characters in Marvel Comics. A character who did get his own Netflix, basically his own Disney Plus show. Have I seen it? No, I have not. I do like the costume they gave, basically, this character in the series. Well, let's talk about the character. We have Moon Knight, Epic Collection Volume 2, Shadows of the Moon, collecting issues 5 through 25 of the very first volume for Moon Knight. Here's the thing about the first volume of Moon Knight. The first volume is only 38 issues, which means with this volume, there are 15 issues left. Yep, about 15 left to go for the whole entire thing. Now, some of you might be thinking, okay, so if there's 15 issues, does that mean that the book itself is almost done? Oh, it's possible. Yes, I think that from the look of it, it seems that the next volume will definitely cap it off, even though it's only 15 issues, but still. And then Volume 3 will start up the long-running ongoing series, which will be a while before I get back to Volume 7. Yep. But here we're discussing these particular issues. Now, in these issues, mostly put Moon Knight fights some one-shot characters. A lot of these issues. In issues 9 and 10, we see the return of Raoul Bushman. For the first time since issue 1, he appears in these two issues. He teams up with a fairly new character in issues 9 and 10. He teams up with a character known as Midnight Man. Yes. Now, Midnight Man himself actually made his debut in issue number 3 of this very book. Issue 3, and he appears in issues 9 and 10, and then he appears one more time after this in March with Moon Knight. And that was it. Yeah, he's currently deceased right now, but Raoul Bushman, this is quite interesting though. After this two-parter, he does not return again until 8 years later in Mark's Spectre Moon Knight, where he appears for a handful of issues, and pops up sporadically over time. And basically the most recent thing he was involved with was when he popped up in, not the current book, as a matter of fact, Raoul Bushman has not appeared in the Jed McKay run. He actually appeared in the Max Remus run. That was the last time he physically appeared in the comic book. Yep. But it's interesting the fact that you have Raoul Bushman, one of the most, like, if you're a long-running Moon Knight fan, you would know that this guy is basically like a recurring bad guy for Moon Knight. Yet the guy doesn't appear a lot over the course of his, like, 43 years. 42 years he's been around. 42 years his character's around, and the character has not appeared very much at all. I do not know the reason for this, but that's pretty much how the character is. Yes, at one point this guy was dead. He's also been institutionalized. But in actuality, his most recent appearance was actually in an issue of King in Black Thunderbolts. You're thinking, really? Oh, yeah, definitely. That was like just a couple years ago. And aside fighting, now mostly they also fight these other characters like Edward Radich. Yeah, so it's like, oh, let's have Moon Knight fight some one-shot villains. By the way, I forgot to mention here, the writers of this book is Doug Moak, Jack C. Harris, and Al Zedek, with Bill Sienkiewicz in the artwork, who does the cover art too, which is really gorgeous. Dennis Cohen, Benicio Oscar, Jimmy Jones, and Greg LaRouche. The current cover is basically Bill Sienkiewicz and Matt Molina. The back cover is Frank Miller and Joe Cusso. Book covers time period of March 1981 and concludes in September of 1982. Excuse me. Yes. So, yeah, basically in the first like couple issues, it's like, oh, let's have Moon Knight fight some one-shot villains, like also White Angel of Death. Yeah. But it's still quite interesting. It's Moon Knight basically doing his own thing here. Mm-hmm. But pretty much after the two part of it is basically 9 and 10. And then we find a guy called Krajan Creed for an issue. Yeah. Who's a cocaine dealer. Yep, and issue 12. Issue 12 is the first appearance of 3 characters. Morpheus, Dr. Pierre Allen Jr., and Detective Flint. Pierre Allen Jr., this guy here, he's Marlene's brother, which means, yes, Moon Knight's daughter is his niece. Yep. Yeah, he doesn't really appear a lot in the book, per se. Now, the side thing, the brother of Moon Knight's main love interest, he only appears 3 times. Overall, he appears in issue 12, and he returns for 22-23, and that's sadly is it for character. Yeah, he actually, we also have the debut of a character named Morpheus. No, not the character from the Matrix movies. There's a, just a complete separate character. He appears a small handful of times. He appears in issue 12, 22-23, and then he's absent for the rest of the volume. He doesn't pop up again until volume 2. One issue of the very next volume for the series. Yep, and then he only popped up like after basically 12, 22, 23, he only popped up for about 5 comic books. And that was it for him. Detective Flint, on the other hand, is still very much around. Yep. He's made a good number of appearances per se. Not a lot, but he has made a good number. He was a recurring character definitely in this book per se. He appeared definitely in volume, he appeared a little bit in like volumes 2 and 3. A little bit in volume 4. Basically appears his appearance has been very sporadic over the years. Surprisingly, I don't think he ever appeared in Mark Spector Moon Knight. No, he never did. Yeah, then of course we have Moon Knight taking on the Jester with helping out Daredevil. Yes, seriously, the Jester. And then we have issue 14, the debut of a woman named the Stained Glass Scarlet, who doesn't really appear very much. Great character. Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't really appear much either. I mean, she appears like just 2 issues of this first volume, a handful of issues of the Mark Spector book, and her most recent appearance actually was in, believe it or not, issue 8 of the current book. Mm-hmm. Yep. In a tie-in for Devil's Reign. Yep. That's the most recent thing this woman has done. But, yeah, that's what issue 15 is known for. Stained Glass Scarlet's debut. I believe she's the woman who helps out Moon Knight and then becomes a villain. And then, the very next issue, he fights a once villain named Xenos, who is a werewolf. Yep. So, basically, after a few good issues, yeah, let's basically have Moon Knight find some more one-shot characters. Have a team up with the Thing. Yes, this was interesting. Then taking on a guy called, for issue 1720, taking a guy called Nimrod Strange becomes Arsenal issue 19. No, it's not related to DC's Arsenal or the Android Arsenal from Iron Man. Complete separate character. Yeah, but then pretty much after issue 20, sadly put, he's never seen again after this. No, not really. And 21 teams with Dr. Voodoo, well, at the time, Brother Voodoo, take on zombies. I've already discussed, and pretty much that's pretty much it here. Overall, pretty interesting book. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, next up is a book I've always wanted to talk about. Now, like in the case of Moon Knight, I discussed basically the second, third volume of this book. I discussed basically one of the characters as part of this team-up book. A lot of the Arrow stuff he's appeared in, except for this book and a mini-series. But this guy, oh boy. We have the very first epic collection for Power Man and Iron Fist. Volume 1, Heroes for Hire, which collects Power Man 48 to 49 and Power Man and Iron Fist 50 through 70. Now, in the case of 48 to 50, it's a 3-part story, which basically the first 2 parts basically leading to the renaming of the series to Power Man and Iron Fist, which would be very successful for Marvel. Yep. Of course, also, Meredith Duffy basically comes on as the writer of the book. Excuse me, yes. Yes, after that amazing 3-parter, basically it's like, oh, I guess Marvel's like, oh, we have these two books, not selling very well. Let's combine the books into one. Let's take Iron Fist, the supporting cast, and Luke Cage, combine the books into one. But here's the strange thing about this book. When Luke Cage got his own triple H numbering in 2018, this volume is kind of for his numbering, not Iron Fist. Yeah, I found it kind of weird. So for the opening 3 issues of this book, it's basically, get this, Power Man and Iron Fist taking on a character from Captain America Comics, Nightshade, and taking on Boss Morgan. Yes, a recurring character pop up in this book and some inspiring books, but he first appeared in the issue of Captain America. Yeah, he basically was like a recurring in Captain America. Most of it was also associated with Falcon. And then he popped up in basically 1920 of Power Man and Iron Fist, the Power Man book. And he returned to Captain America briefly, and then popped up for a handful of issues of Peter Parker Spider-Man. And then he appears in this book, and he's back to Captain America. And more team up, and issue the Punisher. Yeah, he popped in this book, I think like in a flashback. He didn't do anything in the book. Like, I think, he apparently died. Well, he kind of did, but then he came back in Black Panther. He's currently deceased now. He got killed off the issue of Daredevil when Ed Brubaker wrote the book. Yeah, he's only here just for the first couple issues of this thing, and mostly plays all versus Nightshade for basically a quick 3-parter that started off this book. But then, of course, issue 53 starts after 53, with, of course, Blake Tyler in the book. We basically have something quite interesting happen. We have the formation of the Heroes for Hire organization. Yes, originally Hero for Hire was a solo thing for Luke Cage. My guess, he put in a back burner once became Power Man, and now we brought back Power Man and Iron Fist as official organization. And this particular version of Heroes for Hire will start from this particular issue, issue 54, and will last into the final issue of this run. Yep. Oh, by the way, the writers of this run. So far, for 51-53, it's basically 51. It's Chris Claremont and Ed Hennigan through 52, and then basically with 54, Ed Hennigan takes over as the writer of the book. Now, how long does it stay in the book for as the writer? Well, he stays in the writer just for a couple issues, and he's gone. Yep, after it's like he's there just to bring about the organization of Heroes for Hire, and then that's pretty much it. Yep, and after pretty much that, and then pretty much we have in issue 56 we have the first appearance of, well, a woman basically will be the Heroes for Hire secretary. Yep. Yeah, a woman who was later accused of murder. But she basically was part of this book from her debut up until like the final issue of this book. Yeah, she basically appeared like mostly recurring basis, but she was here for pretty much almost the entire run. Yep, so... And then, of course, you have Luke Cage and Iron Fist taking on the Living Monolith. Yep, an X-Men villain. And yes, of course, basically the X-Men do guest star in issue 57 with Mary Jo Duffy doing the writing. Now, who does issue 56? That's Mary Jo Duffy. I think that starts her run for the book, a very, very lengthy run for the book. And here's something quite sad about Mary Jo Duffy. She's sadly been retired from comics. Yes, her last book she worked on. Here's a little fun fact about she has something in common with Naruto. You see, she was the one who wrote the English translation of the Naruto manga for Viz Media. Yep, not a bad choice. When it comes to her time on this particular book, she came in issue 56 and she's here to issue 84, excuse me. But it's like at this point she's the first regular writer in the book. We also have everyone eating on the artwork of this book. And you might be asking, okay, oh, by the way, 56 is the first appearance of Heroes for Hire's, building that they have. Yep. A building which would occasionally appear in the book, but mostly be the official base operations for Heroes for Hire. Trevor Eden will be the artist for this book for, let's see. I've actually met this guy once in person. Great guy to meet. Now, this actually is one of his very few Marvel comics he worked on, because he didn't do much for Marvel. He did a lot more for DC than Marvel. He sadly put me the artist in this book just for a few issues, just for 56, 59. But here's a quick question. Who is the artist for issues 51 to 55? First it was Mike Zeck on the artwork. Yep. He did issue 51. 52. And then it switched over to Sal Buscema for issue 53. And then 54, it's Lee Ellis. And 55, it's still Lee Ellis. And then 56 is basically on the Travel on Eden. He's only on here for a few issues and he leaves. Yep. And it's like, okay, so Mary Jo Duffy, okay, so let's have it where Ed Hennigan basically is there to establish Heroes for Our organization, and when Mary Jo Duffy came on board, it's like, okay, so we debut the organization issue 54, which is basically, it was also, and then basically just a couple issues later, with issue 56, we get the first appearance of their secretary and their building they use for this run. Yeah, and we actually are kind of moving the book out of 1970s with these issues. Yeah, starting in March of 1978. How far does it go to? You're about to find out. Yeah, then basically in 58, take on a guy called... basically, first he was El Agia. Basically is a... Well, he's been a occasional one over the years. He's here for issue 58, 65, and 78. He pops up a few more times after that. His most recent appearance was actually in Power Manifest Volume 2. Yep, and then we have the Sons of the White Tiger. One appear in issue 59. Yeah. Basically, it's a lot of really fun stuff happening over these issues. Yeah, then you have 61. Okay, let's have Luke Cage and Iron Fist take on Mountain Man Marco from Spider-Man. By the way, his last appearance was back in Amazing Spider-Man 75, which was released back in May 1969. His next appearance will not be until 10 years later he pops up in this book. And then, of course, he appears in our next issue. And then he pops up again in issue 92. Now, there's a guy named Thunderbolt appears in this book. Yeah. Yeah, he actually was a character who I think he was a Smithville Thunderbolt. Yes, I think it may have been. Hayes sadly put gets killed off in this book. Yeah, he gets killed off in issue 62 after appearing for just for a couple issues. After his return from issue 43. Yeah. I think on two mobsters, more like basically mobsters. It's Senor Sorte and Senor Marte. Yeah, these guys are here just for a few issues, and then, well, by issue 64, these two are pretty much out of the book. Are they dead? No, not really. They're just basically gamblers here for a couple issues. And El Agio returns because a supporting character, not a villain, a supporting character, and just to help out Iron Fist for an issue. And then we have Sabretooth appearing in the book with Constrictor. Yep. Sabretooth had last appeared back in Iron Fist 14. Yep. And this was only just like 3 years later. And then after this issue, he appeared like... Here's the thing about Victor Creed. Because people tend to mistakenly believe he's always been an X-Men villain. Like, oh, he must be the first X-Men book. What X-Men he appeared in? He didn't appear in X-Men first. He bought Iron Fist first. Yeah, some people forget that because Sabretooth's long history with Wolverine. The Constrictor, mind you, made his first appearance in Incredible Hulk 3 and Incredible Hulk 212. Yep, and then 67, we kill off a character named Bushmaster. Yeah, he was supposedly kill him off here, but he comes back. Yeah, he comes back. Yeah, he supposedly gets killed off in issue, but don't worry, he comes back for issue 100. And then issue 68, Arthur Nagin, aka the Gorilla Man. Yep, the Gorilla Man, who, by the way, Luke Cage does remember this guy. Hey, oh yeah, you mean, you're the Gorilla Man? Yep. By the way, he last appeared back in the Defenders Annual. Next time he appear will be in the first issue of Savage Sinister She-Hulk. Aside from the Marvel Age Annual, but interesting to fight Gorilla Man for an issue. I thought that was interesting. Then 69, well, fight some homeless guy. And then by 70, fight a guy called Supremo. And that's pretty much it. Also, there's a guy named Lee Wing. Lee Wing is Colleen Wing's father. Mm-hmm. He has not appeared for quite some time. This actually was, believe it or not, his penultimate appearance ever in comics. His final appearance would actually be in issue 100. Did he die? No, he's still alive, but he's not doing anything right now. Not really. He was a character who mostly would be like a supporting character from Iron Fist. It's like basically Merida put him in here just to continue the character. His last appearance was back in Iron Fist number 6. What the heck he was up to between issues, I have no idea. His daughter is still very much around. Mm-hmm. Also, the way the comic was written was the fact that, possibly Colleen Wing and Iron Fist were a relationship. Not really. There was nothing seen in the book that I saw that these two are a couple. Not really. Yeah, and she's still around. Colleen Wing. Yep. Yeah, she actually made her most recent appearance in issue 12 of She-Hulk by Rainbow Rowell. Yep, so at least she's still around. And she even guest starred for an issue of the current Iron Fist run. Basically, the guy who succeeded the Danny Rand, Lin Lai, who was originally Swordmaster. Now, here's an obvious question. Why the heck did Marvel make him Iron Fist? That's actually a really good question. It is by far one of the strangest things Marvel's ever done with the character. It's like, okay, we have this fairly new character who Greg Pak brings over here from Korea, and now he's Iron Fist. Yes. The reason is completely unexplained. Yeah, that's the strange thing about the current Iron Fist. Yeah. But these issues are fantastic. I love them. I give this book a 10 out of 10. Moon Knight, I give that roughly a 9. Yep. So yeah, that's a particular view. Next up, Jujutsu Kaisen. Okay, next video.